over the past 10 years, I've worked on a lot of things, right? But one thing I've worked on is learning how to speak better, right? Like learning how to articulate what's in my mind. Going through DMT experiences, wanting to explain them, but not having the words or the ability to articulate it out the way that I want to articulate it. So it's like practice. What's that old saying? Repetition is the father of learning. The first person I heard say that was Lil Wayne, um, but it's so real because it's like after repetition. Like I make these videos and I just free flow whatever's on top of my head, but doing that is like working out. Every time I make a video, it's a workout. Every time I'm in a conversation with someone, it's a workout. Meaning, I learned how to speak better, but after learning how to speak better, I then started working on learning how to listen better. Because, like, something I noticed with the internet, now I don't know if this is like a side effect of communicating through the internet, but I'll notice podcasts, especially when it's like someone's on a webcam and the guy's talking to someone on a webcam, or two people on webcams are talking. There might be a slight delay, so there's this slight thing, so you might want to say something and then it interrupts what they're saying. But like so like a lot of people tend to interrupt, and like it's like I kind of see that everyone just wants to kind of get their thing out, but not necessarily intake the other person's ideas or words, because as they're speaking, they're trying to say something, and a lot of times people are trying to say something more than just what words can explain. Words are just a medium, but it's this thing where, because I like, so for example, I'm a father, and I've been practicing this since my daughter was young, right? She's a teenager now, but it's like ever since, like, I taught her how to speak. So I taught her, just how to communicate, because I would communicate with her, and it kind of forced her to like understand me or not. Like one of those things. So when she was like 6 or 7, I started communicating with her more, like, just clearly and normally, and like I started having conversations with her. And see, was learning how to conversate as she was learning how to conversate. Like, because having her taught me how to listen better. Because there's something I told my friend asked me a long time ago, if there's one parent advice that you would give someone, what would it be? And I said, and I will always say, to make sure to listen to your children just as much or more than they listen to you. So, our children have to listen to us, but it's like people think that they don't have to listen to their children. It's that thing that everyone deserves to be heard, even if they're wrong. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's that thing. So, I learned that from just raising my child. So, like, it's like, well, that translates to every other human on earth. Every human just wants to be heard, seen, um, like, and it's like, especially in debates, people will get their ego in a bunch because like everyone wants to be right. And that's another flaw I think we have with conversating, or with life in general, like, because everyone wants to be right. So like no one truly loves knowledge. Like, this is why it's like I say, well, I'm a philosopher because I truly love knowledge more than I love being right. I love learning, and I love it when someone proves me wrong, because that's how you grow. Like, you don't grow by just always being right all the time. Like, that's not how you get smarter. That's not how you get wiser. You don't get wise by making no mistakes. You get wise by making mistakes when you're young and learning from them, right? You get wise by going through experiences. You don't get wise by just doing nothing, right? It's this thing where I just think as we're getting into 2025, right? And it's like I can see that maybe it's just the way our society's set up that nobody's really working on personal growth. The society is focused on like financial growth and like all this extra like people think progress and like they're thinking some giant thing that has nothing to do with them when it's like we should be focused on personal progress, right? Personally progressing. So like I was focused on learning how to speak better, learning how to listen better, all these things that I was working on. It's because it's like well I just want to keep growing. You know, and it's that thing I say all the time where I just want to grow into the best version of myself. But that's just something I want. Now, it's not something I would ever force on anyone, right? I wouldn't want everyone to be working hard to become their best self if that's not what they truly wanted and if that wasn't enjoyable to them. Because it's enjoyable to me. Like, that's why I said I love being wrong, right? I said this a while ago. Now, a little bit of it was my ego, but it is true that like, I love the pain, right? Like, when at the video I made, I was talking about how, 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, my ex left me. The video back then was probably like a year after she left me, but I was just explaining that, like, that's fine. Like, the pain, the shattering, like, bring me more pain. Like, because I don't give a fuck. And it's like, part of that's ego, but part of that's true. That because the pain just made me better. Because I now know it's like you go through pain, you work through that pain, you then utilize that pain because it's just energy, and then you grow from that pain. Like, you get in a conversation, you interrupt people all the time, like how I used to conversate like 4 or 5 years ago. I'm always wanted to be the one to talk, and I just wanted to people to listen because I have these crazy ideas. I just researched this crazy thing. I just whatever. So it's like I didn't necessarily sit and listen. Now when I'm in conversations, I tend to just sit and listen more. Um and like I speak, but definitely not as much as I used to. Um and it's this thing where it's just good to know how to balance the thing. Balance knowing how to speak, knowing when to speak, knowing when not to speak. Like I made a post a while ago saying like it's more important to know when not to speak than to know when to speak or to know how to speak or whatever. But like because like I truly believe that because sometimes we learn more just by sitting back and listening. And what's funny is if you sit back and you actually listen to the people, like conversate, you're in a conversation, you want to get your point across, but instead of just trying to get your point across, sit back and listen. And then you'll find out that you'll have your chance to get your point across as well as people will listen more because they are like they feel heard. You know, so like I don't know. I guess it's just a whole life is just a learning experience, right? Every conversation you have is a learning experience. Every like situation you have where you're um like in a pain, suffering, you interrupt people all the time. It's like I watch some podcasts, right? And there's like two or three people that I watch where I'm watching their podcast and I'm trying to watch it, but then the person will ask a question to the person that's on their podcast, but then the person that asked the question will keep interrupting or being like yeah, that's right, man. Like, yeah. And it's like, I'd be thinking to myself, like, bro, just shut up. Let the man speak or let the woman speak. Like, um, because I don't know if people do that to make it seem like they're paying attention, but I think it's like, or to rush someone's conversation, or to whatever, or maybe they're not doing it on purpose at all. But it's these things that we can grow from, like we can learn from these things. I learned from watching my own videos back. Every video I watch it back. So it's like, so every video I make, I watch it back. I then like will upload it. But like, I've been doing this the whole time. So I seen the things that I did. I seen that when I first started making videos, I was always nervous, so I had to edit the video severely because every 10 seconds I did this. Every 10 seconds. So I had to edit the video out. But I noticed that by editing the video, and I was like, yo, I gotta work on that. Like, that's what started the thing of like, oh, I need to work on that. I made a video about how I use my videos like a mirror to see myself. Like, because I see myself, not just actually see myself, but I literally hear the way I speak, hear the way I do this, see the way I move, and like I'm able to, like, now I feel like I've worked on it so much that I'm getting so close to just moving and speaking how I really do in real life. Like sometimes we all have it. I don't. It's the same thing that happened with back in the day, that transatlantic accent thing. Like YouTube created an accent thing. You know how like a lot of people are like, "Hey guys, so this is here in my channel," and we're like, it's the YouTube voice, and I don't know. I just wanted to. I was just slowly working on that. Being like, okay, I don't like that I do that, so I want to try to not do that. I don't like that, like just whatever. And it's like now I got it down to, there's some things I can't fix. I try to stop saying like all the time, but that's harder than anything else. So I don't know. That's probably just about as hard as saying I'm gonna not swear. But I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is that we can work on ourselves. And it's like, if all the podcasters, because what are they doing? They're podcasting and that's their thing. So why not, so don't you always want to get better at your thing, or do you like being stagnant? Do you like stagnating? Do you like being, because once you stagnate, that happens is you start to go down, right? Like you can think if you do nothing, you're not just always going to have what you have. You'll eventually keep getting less and less because you keep doing nothing, and you'll keep losing the thing. Like, so you might get worse at conversating. You might get, if you don't catch yourself, it's the same thing with working out. If you don't catch yourself, you can get out of shape really easily. If you don't catch yourself, like, pay attention. Like, maybe you have a temper. Maybe you get angry. Maybe, whatever. Maybe you get sad. Like, whatever your thing is, catch yourself. Don't just allow yourself to continue a behavior or pattern that you don't want yourself to have. Like, it's that thing. And the problem is people don't know they have it. I hear people all the time, they'll make videos. Like, I've heard famous people, like big channel people, talk about how they don't watch their content back because it's cringy to them. And I'm sitting here like, well, they're just missing a great chance to see what we see. Because in your head, you think you're something that you're probably not. Like, we all think we're better than we are. Like, I found this out when I went through the breakup, that we all think we're good people. We all think we're more good than we actually are. Like, real shit. And we all try to act like we're more good than we actually are. We all try to, like, I guess we all, but like, I'm trying to not do that. That's why I try to just be completely real and authentic, because, like, I just want to be me. But like, I love growing. So I love working on becoming a better me. it's just life to me, right? I love working out now. I love everything I do. I found a way to fall in love with it. So I fell in love with learning how to accept being wrong. I fell in love with falling on my face, and then I fell in love with getting back up. Like, that's why I don't care about, like, I'm strong enough now to deal with my anxiety. I'm strong enough now to deal with my sadness. I don't have to self harm anymore. I'm strong enough now to, like, to better myself and to accept when I need to better myself. Like, and I know how to drop my ego when I need to. I know how to, and these things are just tools to help us because, like, if not, you'll just always be the podcaster guy that's always interrupting his guests. You'll always be the person that conversates with your friends that always interrupts them. You'll always be this person that never truly listens to others. You'll always be like, you don't, what I'm saying is we can all be better. And it's not, and instead of getting our emotions attached to it, being like, oh, this is who I am, and it's like, yeah, that's who you are. But we can all grow, like, if we want to. But I'm ending the video with saying, you don't have to. You don't have to grow. You don't have to better yourself. If you want to continue being the podcaster that interrupts others, that's on you.